Welcome to the M&A Unplugged podcast. Our mission is to help you be better prepared for your business acquisition or sale. Being prepared will ensure you maximize returns and minimize risks. This is M&A Unplugged with your host, Domenic Rinaldi.
Welcome back to M&A Unplugged. I'm your host, Domenic Rinaldi. When we decided to launch the M&A Unplugged podcast, it was to address the number one pitfall that we see in transactions, and that's lack of preparation. We talk about this issue a lot, and if you've been listening for a while, you know that it's the reason we started the M&A Unplugged podcast, because over 20 years and having done thousands and thousands of consults with buyers and sellers, we consistently see that people don't properly prepare. Well, we can tell you that, but now we can also share some evidence of that. See, over the last couple of years, we have been collecting buyer assessments and tabulating and taking that information in the aggregate. And just last year in 2020, we collected over 300 buyer assessments. And today, I'm going to give you some highlights to those assessments, some high levels and show you the evidence of why we believe that preparation really is the number one issue and the number one thing standing in the way of people having a successful transaction versus one that potentially erodes their entire investment. We'll give you some actionable steps to avoid these pitfalls. But if you want to avoid the common pitfalls, please visit our website, K2 Advisor, adviser.com. And on that site are the resources that I'm referencing and the assessment. Being prepared is critical to ensuring that you maximize returns and minimize risks. Thanks for being here and hope you enjoyed today's episode. So, as I referenced in my opening remarks, we've been collecting assessments from business buyers for almost 2 years. Last year, we collected over 300 of these assessments. And this assessment was designed to capture data on where buyers are as it relates to the major pitfalls in any acquisition strategy. The assessment itself takes less than 10 minutes to complete and covers everything from strategy to financing to how people will source their deals once they're ready. The scoring scale on this assessment is 0 to 100, with 100 being the best score and telling us that you're completely ready to explore buying a business and should have tremendous confidence moving into the market. Anything above 80 indicates you've done most of the important items, but there's little room for improvement, but you're well on your way. Anything under 80%, and you should definitely seek some assistance, as your entire investment potentially could be in jeopardy. When we look at the aggregate scoring from these assessments, the average score of buyer readiness was only 34.5%. And this was mostly from people who were actively in the market seeking a transaction today. The score is incredibly low, and my advice is that many of these buyers should either be seeking assistance with their business searches from a professional or stop the process and spend some time addressing the gaps in the preparation. This becomes so important given that you could be risking your entire investment and the livelihoods of a lot of the people in the acquired company. When you consider that most deals require a bank loan, when you're this unprepared, there will be significant pitfalls putting your entire investment at risk. And while the aggregate results are alarming, with a little bit of knowledge, the major pitfalls can easily be avoided. So let's review some of the specific areas that the assessment measures. The first area is how many respondents had a strategic acquisition plan. Only 39% of the respondents had properly thought through all the aspects of an acquisition plan, which typically includes everything from the type or types of businesses, the size, the geography, the attributes of a target business. What's the desired EBITDA before and after debt service? Do you want a management team? Are you okay with union or do you prefer non-union? And are you open to buying the real estate, or you just want to lease? If you're a first-time buyer, what type of talent do you need in the business to complement your strengths and weaknesses? Will you be an active or a passive owner? What are your goals for the business after the acquisition? If you're a current business owner looking to grow through acquisition, what is the main purpose of the acquisition? Are you looking to grab some competitors, potentially buy some technology, pick up talent, or just acquire clients? Having a solid plan up front will give you the direction necessary once you launch into a search, and you can more easily network for opportunities if you are crystal clear about your plan. It will also enable you to waste less time on deals that don't fit your criteria. And I promise you that in a comprehensive search, you will need to look at a lot of deals to find the ones that truly fit your objectives. The next area was related to whether or not the buyer had assembled a seasoned M&A team. About 43% of the respondents had identified who would be on their team during the process. This score is especially concerning given that 71% of the respondents had never bought a business before. When we discuss an M&A team, it's typically comprised of an M&A attorney, an M&A accountant, an M&A advisor, a potential banking partner or partners, and specific resources depending on your experience and training. For example, it may be necessary to identify an accounting firm that can conduct a quality of earnings report, or an equipment appraisal firm that will evaluate the physical assets in a deal. Or if you're looking at companies with a union workforce, you may need somebody who specializes in union and pension contracts. The importance of having a team identified up front is it allows you to act swiftly when you find the right opportunity. This is particularly important now, given how many buyers are in the marketplace looking for quality deals. And don't make the mistake of adding advisors on your team that don't have significant M&A experience under their belt. And that experience should be recent, as COVID has added a whole new set of challenges in the diligence and legal phases of a deal. The next major area was related to the sourcing of lenders for an acquisition loan. 53% of the respondents had spoken with a lender so they could understand both their debt and equity capabilities. Sourcing lenders in advance will enable you to put together some financial models so you can truly understand how much of your own equity is required for different types of deals, what various loan packages will look like, potential principal and interest payments, and what would be left over for you as the owner to take in the form of a salary, distributions, or to invest back into the business. Doing some of this modeling up front will also help you act quickly and confidently once you find a great prospective acquisition target. You can also take time to better understand the lender's underwriting process and timeframes, and get comfortable with the team that would be supporting your efforts. The next major area is related to integration. Integration is how you would handle taking over a new business, whether you are an individual investor or a company growing through acquisition. 37% of respondents said they had the knowledge and resources identified to manage an integration. This is concerning because most M&A deals fail to meet their ROI targets because the integration and transition was botched or poorly planned. This ranges from how you'll handle employees, clients, and vendors, how systems, processes, and procedures will be merged, and how communications will be handled both internally and externally. This is not an area you want to get wrong, and understanding what's necessary to have a smooth integration and transition is time well spent. And the time to be planning for these issues is actually during your diligence phase. You do not want to wait until the deal is wrapped up and you're ready to close to start thinking about integration tasks. It's way too late at that point. The next area relates to sourcing deals. And only 45% of the respondents had identified exactly how they would source prospective target companies. Sourcing has become a really significant issue right now. I mentioned earlier how many buyers are in the marketplace, and it's not uncommon to see multiple offers on good quality deals. And so sourcing deals has become a bit of an art as well as a science in this marketplace. Of course, there are the business for sale websites where you can go and source opportunities, but I promise you that you're going to be in a large pool with lots of other buyers. And so you need to be more creative. You need to be thinking about networking, maybe perhaps direct outreach, or hiring a firm like ours where we can conduct a really comprehensive search for you based on your criteria. But sourcing lots of deals is going to be important. I see a lot of buyers approach the market and they approach one target acquisition at a time. And if your time frame to get a deal done is less than 12 months, you actually need to be sourcing many deals at the same time. Sometimes as many as 6 to 12 deals, because some of them are going to fall through. Some of them you're not going to want to proceed with any further. And you're going to be left with a handful that maybe fit your acquisition criteria and seem like good opportunities. So having an abundance of opportunities that you can look at is really critical. So the above are just a handful of the business acquisition areas that we cover in our assessment. If you are considering owning your own business and going after a business acquisition within the next 2 years, I strongly urge you to take our free assessment. We will email you all the results so you can see the gaps that may exist in your strategy. Plugging those gaps will be crucial to securing your investment and giving you the confidence to move forward with a search. And if you need some specific help, please feel free to reach out to us directly at marketing@k2advisor.com. We love to help entrepreneurs be better prepared for their acquisitions. I hope you enjoyed this episode. All of today's information will be available in the show notes. If you enjoy our content, please remember to subscribe and review our podcast. I look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of the M&A Unplugged podcast. And until then, please remember that scaling, acquiring, or selling a business takes time, preparation, and the proper knowledge.